Right, let's keep going anyway. Let's talk about Isak, shall we? So this from Ben Jacobs on TalkSport said Liverpool are not going to give up. They want Alexander Isak. Whether that's now remains to be seen. So I think that's one thing we can say confidently now, is that Liverpool are not going to give up yet on Alexander Isak. Now, whether we can get him now or whether we have to wait down the line or whether he ends up signing a new deal with Newcastle, it is pretty clear to me. I think Liverpool won 2-9s. That's my guess. And I don't think I'm on my own in that. A gentleman called Aaron posted on X asking a question to Ben Jacobs and said, can you confirm or deny Liverpool are interested in him if a deal between Bayern and Liverpool to materialise? Asking about Rodrigo. And he said, there is clear appreciation from clubs, including Liverpool, but a deal is also deemed quite expensive. I think we'll get more clarity on Rodrigo next week, but this is the really interesting part for me from Ben. I think we'll get more clarity on Rodrigo next week. All I can say for now, and as reported before, if Luis Diaz is sold, another attacker will come in. Whether it's a left winger, we'll have to see. Could also be another number 9. And that's what I'm wondering here. So we know if Liverpool have a target, whether that have been Rodrigo, Joel Hatto, or whomever, and somebody makes a play, if Liverpool really want that player, that's when they jump into action. So I can only assume if Liverpool are standing back and letting the Chelsea situation with Joel Hatto happen, that maybe we weren't going for Joel Hatto. So I have to trust that there's a plan, and I actually do. For once, after all the years of moaning, I trust that there's a plan for this window, and I'm happy to just sit back and let Liverpool do what they need to do. Newcastle are carefully managing the narrative now. Isak wants too much. Isak's head's turned. We hope he stays. I think they're sitting in a room with Newcastle saying, sign your replacements. I just don't think... I just think Isak wants to move, in all honesty. And if he's asking for 300 grand, and that's shocking Newcastle, because, that's what's been put out there in the media in the last day or so, is that Newcastle have been surprised by Isak's request for £300,000 a week. Just sell him then. I know a club that are willing, and like we said earlier in the window, could help you with your own window. So what do we think? I'm not giving up on Isak yet in this window, let alone giving up on him full stop. I think Liverpool still think there's a deal to be done here. I really do. Okay, seriously, pay 130 million for Isak and give him 300k a week. This is not the Liverpool I know. Well, obviously, this is a Liverpool that we're all getting used to. Oliver, it's certainly a big change attack from Liverpool, but I ain't going to be unhappy, mate, if we end up with Hugo Ekitike and Alexander Isak as attacking options with young Rio, with Cody Gakpo, with Mo. Bring it on. Mark Royal said, I'd rather Julian Alvarez over Isak. Am I alone? No. He's my number one choice, mate. But from what we understand, and I think the good folks in the chat will probably be able to fill you in on this as well, is our understanding is that he just has no interest in coming back to the UK. It's not a Liverpool thing or anything like that. It's just he doesn't want to come back to the UK for lifestyle, cultural reasons. And if that's the case, it's a really tough deal to get done, isn't it? So I'm with you though, mate. I'd love Julian Alvarez. He'd be ideal for us, in my opinion. But unfortunately, it just doesn't look possible. Craig, what's happening with Darwin? He'll be sold whenever somebody ponies up the money. There's more interest coming from Italy. But again, will they have the money to do it? Don't know. There's still interest coming from Saudi Arabia, where I think Michael Edwards and Richard Hughes probably feel like that's where the money will come from. So we'll have to wait and see on it. Now, remember, we were always told that the plan would have had to have been to sell a striker before we go out and buy Ekitike. And we haven't done that yet with Darwin. So the club obviously felt the need to push on with the Ugo Ekitike signing, whether it was because it was a time-sensitive thing or Arne needed more time in the training pitch with him before the season started. But ultimately, I feel like, again, that's an indication that Liverpool are expecting that sale of Darwin. Carbon. Hey, Craig, how are we doing today? I still think that we should keep Darwin. I know you don't hear that, but it's not that I don't hear it, mate. I even asked last night on the stream, because somebody said do a poll. And I said, what should happen with Darwin? And 67%, or maybe, no, 63%, sorry, said that still want them to go. So I get it. I understand people thinking good backup option, at least works hard. I get it. I totally do get it, but I just don't want it. And I don't think that the club do either. I just think he's had every possible opportunity. But I can promise you one thing. If he's a Liverpool player when we kick off at the start of the season, I will hope he does well every time he steps on the pitch. But I'd be amazed if he's still here. Nunes has more goals than Firmino in his first 2 seasons. I remember we wanted him out. I never wanted Firmino out. You can't lob that one on me. Immediately, I said to people when Firmino came in, don't be talking about goals with this guy. Because Firmino was never coming in to be a number 9 in the sense of what we think of as number 9s. And his ability in the team and his impact, I don't think should be measured with goals. So I was never anything other than in love with Bobby Firmino when he came in. And look, Darwin's goal record per minute, if you look at it in that sense, it's not that bad. But if you look at it for the amount of chances, it's not great. He's done up numbers, but he probably should have done double those numbers with the amount of chances he had. Some of them, by the way, he created himself. Imagine the banter if we get Isak and have to play Newcastle second game of the season. Yeah, you couldn't be playing him in it, could you? Like, being realistic, that'd be a tough one. You'd have to come up with one of those famous Newcastle injuries for that one, I think. Alex said, watched the Newcastle side today and they were saying how funny it is seeing the scouts just getting wound up over Isak. As far as I know, we're all relaxed. If it happens, it happens. The only people, Alex, getting wound up about Isak are the Geordies. And far too much so. They're living in a level of delusion that I find hilarious, in all honesty. Like, I really do. They will convince themselves, if he stays, that they've won. But ultimately, over the course of the season, when they don't have a deep enough squad because of the Champions League and playing twice a week, it will show itself again. And they'll be moaning. And if he picks up an injury, they'll be moaning. So I'm relaxed about it. Your good self's relaxed about it. Any Liverpool fan I know is relaxed about it. And the only people losing their minds on it are from the Newcastle side. But like with many things in life, a lot of people make themselves feel better by trying to shit on other people. And they don't have a lot to be happy about from the window so far, have they? They brought in Alanga. That's about it. Evening, Craig. I'm very well, thank you, mate. Sorry, got in late, wondering if you heard anything on Isak deciding to get on a plane to join Newcastle for their tour, as I heard he might not join them. There should be no point in joining him, he's injured. So, there'd be no point in going over there to play if he's injured, is it? He has to do his, training on his own because he's definitely injured. Definitely, 100% injured. No doubt in my mind he's injured. He's injured. All I can say to you is Liverpool aren't giving up, and Liverpool will still be there for Isak in January, next summer, and until he signs on the dotted line and signs a new deal at Newcastle. But the line coming out of Newcastle doesn't seem to be one that's expecting a new deal. If they're balking at the 300 grand a week expectation, if they're, almost flirting with the idea of Al Hilal, let's wait and see what happens. But one thing, he wants Liverpool. Geordies might hang on to, but when they put their little Geordie heads down their little Anton deck pillows at night and they wake up for their Gregs in the morning, I'm sure that they've had a dream or two and they know that Isak wants to come and play for Liverpool. That is undeniable, in my opinion. So let's wait and see if the man's dreams come true or not.